Good morning, Lucas. I hope that you've been having fun drawing out sketches and ideas of what your stained glass window design is going to be. Today, we are going to be working on the next part of this project. And I want to show you some examples of stained glass windows and talk a little bit about how to go about starting your actual finished drawing. So the supplies that you are going to need today, Lucas, are the sketches you did with ideas from the Gospels that you read earlier, some scene from the story of Jesus's birth. You are going to need the thick paper that I sent home this week. You are also going to need a pencil with a good eraser and a ruler. So today you need to decide on one of the drawings that you did. I hope you did at least 4 of them, and I want you to choose the one that you think you will be able to put the most detail in, and the one that you really like drawing. But if you put those up on Seesaw this week, I can give you feedback about which one might be the best. You want to make sure that you're going to be using up the whole space of your paper, and you are going to be able to put in kind of patterns and details that will make your stained glass window design be interesting. So we will look at a bunch of different photos of actual stained glass windows for you to get an idea of how they used the space and the types of shapes and colors and patterns they used to make an interesting window. So it's important to remember that stained glass windows were being made not only to let light into the cathedrals, but they also were made to tell the gospel, to tell the stories of the Bible. Because when these cathedrals were first being built, many people were illiterate, which means they were unable to read. So they couldn't go and read the Gospels like you did for this project. They learned through the images and the teachings of the church, and then the pictures in the stained glass windows helped remind and communicate those ideas. So we just want to take a couple of minutes to look at some of these stained glass window examples that I'm going to show you, just so you can get a sense of some of the patterns that they used, the way that they framed the images. And you can see we've got a dove with representing the Holy Spirit and Mary in the Annunciation. And then you can see here we have Mary and Joseph and baby Jesus. And again, you can see the lily down in the corner. That is to represent Mary's purity. But you can look at all the details that are painted into each one of those panes and all the ways that they are divided. Here again, we have a very traditional example where you're seeing architectural designs behind those angels, and we're seeing Mary and Joseph and baby Jesus in the manger, but you can see the bright colors and the designs and patterns. These are the types of details I want you to think about while you're working on your drawing, like this big arch that frames the picture of Mary and Joseph, and then these fun animals all around baby Jesus, even outside that frame, and the shepherds and the wise men on each side. Those types of details what will make your design stand out and just really look like a stained glass window. In this example, you can see we have the angel with a very detailed face telling the shepherds about Jesus's birth. This is a slightly different style, but again with very bright and vibrant colors that they use. In this last window, you can see the use of many patterns that surround the figures and frame them. In the very center at the top is a rose window. That's a circular stained glass window. This one has a star in it with the light that is pointing to the Holy Family and to the wise men that are visiting. I just want you to be inspired by the colors and the patterns and the designs as you go into designing your own work. So we're going to take a look at the drawings that we've done. I will show you mine, and I will talk a little bit about how I decided on the one that I was going to use and show you what that final design looks like. My drawings, I showed these to you last week. I did the three wise men moving towards Bethlehem after seeing Herod. I included angels in the sky with the big star that would be over Bethlehem. I did a really quick sketch of Mary and Joseph fleeing to Egypt after Jesus was born. And then I did one of the Annunciation. That's when Gabriel comes and tells Mary that she will give birth to Jesus. So none of my drawings had a lot of details because they were just ideas. I decided to do the Annunciation with Mary and Gabriel. Now, I like that I have the idea, but this drawing was never going to have enough detail for a stained glass window. So on my sheet of paper, so that's the one you're going to have, I redrew the Annunciation. So, but I put in the details that we would have seen in some of that we looked at in those stained glass windows, where we have different items in the picture, and we've used up all of the space, and I've included a halo around both of our figures showing that this is something that is holy, something special is going on. That's how they depicted these important characters of the Bible. I've included the dove. And what's interesting in the artwork during the time that they made these stained glass windows, they would put objects in to help you understand the story better. So the dove, whenever you see a dove, is this representation, this bird, of the Holy Spirit. So when Gabriel told Mary that that God was pleased with her and that she was going to give birth to Jesus, the Holy Spirit came upon her. So we have our bird here that represents the Holy Spirit. And I'm going to do, when I do my coloring, these lines which come from the bird are that light shining on Mary. That's God's blessing and favor on her. She's reading a book. She's often depicted in the medieval times reading a book with the idea that it was Isaiah 7:14, which is the prophecy that the virgin will be with child. That was the prophecy of the coming of Jesus. So we have her acknowledging that. I included a lily, which is often included in images of Mary to show that she was favored by God and she was pure. And then, of course, I have Gabriel, the archangel. He's carrying a scepter, which was a symbol of the work, kind of the military work that he did for God. And I kind of have him on soft, almost like cloud cushioning. That's often how they would show that he was outside of this world, stepping in and sending. He's a messenger, so he's giving the message to Mary. I have put details in the back walls. I have a window in the background where I'm going to have plant leaves, trees, hills, and sky. And it's important, all of these little details, because those are going to be the different color panes that we will see when we color it in. I've also framed my picture by putting a column along the edge of both sides, and I've framed it in on the bottom with just a line. So you can see that I took a lot of time to put this detail in. I would have recorded my doing it, except for it would have been a really long video. So I don't expect you to finish this in one day. I expect you to maybe spend 15 minutes for several days, okay? And you want to use up that space well, just like all those stained glass windows that I showed you. And you can even pause on those and use details just of patterns to come up with designs that you want to put in your stained glass window. When you are finished with this, I want you to draw. You can erase the parts you don't like and then go in with pencil and make your lines really solid. You can see, I'll show this to you one more time up close. You can see my really light lines here. Those were the first sketches that I put in, and then I went in with my pencil and drew darker. You want them dark because next time you are going to be getting a piece of vellum, and that is a transparent piece of paper. We will be attaching that with tape over your drawing, and you can see I can see my drawing through it. So you want to make sure that you draw it dark enough that you can see all of your lines, because all of these lines are going to be traced onto your vellum. So you want to take the time and draw your lines nice and dark. Just a reminder, here's our student example where we have the cave where Jesus was born, and we have the walls of one of the buildings in Bethlehem, because he was born right outside of Bethlehem, and of course this beautiful star. So we are going to be working on this next time, and we'll be tracing that, and then of course we will be adding color in the future. But you can see, I just want to show you one more time, there is the drawing that's drawn dark, and then the vellum will go over it and we will trace it. So if you have questions about what to do this week or which drawing to use, I want you to feel free to contact me, Lucas. I want this project to be fun, and I don't want you to rush through it because they are so beautiful when they are done well. So take your time, and I really look forward to seeing what it is that you illustrate on our paper. Have a great day, Lucas. We'll see you soon.